English News Assistant. Read the native language translation first, and follow the broadcasting to read aloud. Witness the miracle in 3 months.
1. The IRS would only investigate tax evasion-related claims against first-son Hunter Biden, Comer claimed. They didn't want to investigate the shell companies. They didn't want to investigate the money laundering. And then we know the Department of Justice hasn't done anything, so there's a pattern here where the federal government, the deep state bureaucracies, have turned a blind eye to Joe Biden. 2. We're going to start bringing in key figures in the Biden family influence peddling schemes for depositions, and I think we're on the right track, even though we're having to fight the FBI, fight the DOJ, fight the Democrats in Congress and fight the mainstream media. Comer said. 3. Senate John Fetterman donned a hoodie and a pair of shorts with sneakers for a Saturday event with President Biden and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro in Philadelphia. 4. I stress that sustained communication at senior levels is the best way to responsibly manage differences and ensure that competition does not veer into conflict, Mr. Blinken said. I heard the same from my Chinese counterparts. We both agree on the need to stabilize our relationship. 5. Actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger says he believes it's a no-brainer he could win the presidency in 2024 if he were able to run for election. 6. Once it's all done and the dust is settled and you've made your best case, if the voters choose someone else, then you need to get behind who the voters chose and make sure we beat Joe Biden, McDaniel said. We can't have division. We can't have people who get on the debate stage who are going to come out and say, I'm not going to support the eventual nominee. 7. You have to make the pledge based on the fact that Donald Trump is not going to be our nominee and you're confident of it. Therefore, you can sign a statement saying you're going to support the nominee of the party. I'm not going to, support, just like other voters are not going to support, somebody for president who is under indictment, Hutchinson said. 8. Putin said moving nuclear weapons to Belarus was about containment. When asked by the forum's moderator about the possibility of using those weapons, Putin replied, "Why should we threaten the whole world? I have already said that the use of extreme measures is possible in case there is a danger to Russian statehood." 9. And if tanks are based abroad, but used in fighting, we'll see how to hit them, and where we can hit those means that are used against us in fighting, Putin said. This is a serious danger of further drawing NATO into this military conflict. 10. After a weekend that saw a twin bloodbath in terms of major film releases that fell well short of box office expectations, The Flash and Elemental, it's difficult to overstate how corrosive that mentality has become for the theatrical business.
English News Assistant. Read the native language translation first, and follow the broadcasting to read aloud. Witness the miracle in 3 months. Former President Trump claimed Monday that a conversation he had with Russian President Vladimir Putin delayed the country's invasion of Ukraine for several years. With Putin, I have a very good relationship. I haven't spoken to him in a long while, but I had a very strong relationship, Trump said when asked how he would end the war within 24 hours. As he stated on numerous occasions. I thought he might do it, Trump continued. Look, I talked to him. I said, if you do it, there's going to be hell to pay. It's going to be a catastrophe. Don't do it.
Putin initially did not believe Trump would take any action, according to Trump, but he pushed back. I told him I was going to do something. He said, no, you will not do that. I said, I will, Vladimir, I will do it. I'm going to do it. Trump, also a 2024 presidential candidate, said Putin believed maybe 10% of what he was saying, but that 10% was all you needed to stop the invasion from happening. It was only after I left office that you started hearing about this, he added. When asked whether he thought Ukraine was a separate country from Russia, Trump stated it was, but that it used to be one country, and Putin liked it that way.
As for the current conflict, the presidential candidate said he would not weigh in on what might be involved in a negotiation between the two countries, such as Russia keeping control of Crimea, as it would impede a negotiation. But I'm telling you, within 24 hours, that's what I did. I became very rich by doing deals. Very rich. And you know what? Much more so than people even understand. And that's what I do, Trump said. I would have a deal done in 24 hours from the time we started. And I would tell Zelensky something and I would tell Putin something, and I'd get him into a room, and I'd tell him again, and again, Trump said. He added, I would have a deal done very quickly. And you know what? The death would stop, and the destruction would stop because, look, Ukraine has been wiped out.
We are very grateful for the concern being shown by our colleagues and friends and would like to request everyone to pray for their safety while granting the family privacy at this time, the family said in a statement. The family is well looked after and are praying to Allah for the safe return of their family members. When asked if he had wanted to take the statue of the character with him, Stallone said, I did. But she said that's a no deal. That's gonna blow the whole deal. She wanted the statue of the actor as Rocky that overlooks the pool. I like what she's doing, she's making it gorgeous, Stallone said.
English News Assistant. Read the native language translation first, and follow the broadcasting to read aloud. Witness the miracle in 3 months. 1. I worry about Putin using tactical nuclear weapons, the U.S. president said this week. He believes the danger is real.
2. Biden intentionally ceded command and control of our border to cartels. His dereliction of duty caused the deaths of over 900 Coloradans from fentanyl, enabled sex trafficking, and allowed an invasion, Lauren Boebert wrote in a subsequent tweet. I brought my articles of impeachment up via a privileged motion to force a vote. 3. My gut tells me that that's not going to happen. And my gut tells me there's still a really good likelihood that Joe's gonna run for re-election. And we need him, too, Kane said. If Governor Justice thinks he's gonna sweep Joe Manchin aside, I know that Joe Manchin is like, are you kidding me? No way. 4. Hunter Biden has agreed to admit guilt in federal charges related to his taxes after being investigated for a long time. This goes against what President Biden previously said about the situation, as he expressed confidence that his son had not done anything wrong. 5. Hunter will take responsibility for 2 instances of misdemeanor failure to file tax payments when due pursuant to a plea agreement, Clark added. I know Hunter believes it is important to take responsibility for these mistakes he made during a period of turmoil and addiction in his life. He looks forward to continuing his recovery and moving forward. 6. We are very grateful for the concern being shown by our colleagues and friends and would like to request everyone to pray for their safety while granting the family privacy at this time, the family said in a statement. The family is well looked after and are praying to Allah for the safe return of their family members. 7. What I worry about most are things that will stop me from being able to get to the surface. Overhangs, fish nets, entanglement hazards, Rush, CEO of OceanGate said. And, that's just a technique, piloting technique. It's pretty clear if it's an overhang, don't go under it. If there is a net, don't go near it. So, you can avoid those if you are just slow and steady.
8. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the crew of the Titan and their loved ones, Frederick said. We will continue to work as hard and as quickly as possible in an effort to locate them. 9. A fiery gas explosion in central Paris resulted in injuries to at least 37 people and drew hundreds of firefighters to the scene on Wednesday afternoon. There was no alarm sent out before the incident. 10. What starts as a useful recap of how Southgate has re-engineered the England squad's sense of itself, as well as its personnel, builds not only into a gripping drama but one that valuably glances at the confusions of our wider national story, theatre critics wrote. English News Assistant. Read the native language translation first, and follow the broadcasting to read aloud. Witness the miracle in 3 months. 1. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the U.S. has assumed huge significance amid global economic and geopolitical headwinds. 2. The White House is pulling out all the stops to welcome Mr. Modi. It's a state visit, the highest level of diplomatic protocol the U.S. accords to visiting leaders. 3. Mr. Modi will be given a ceremonial welcome at the White House on Thursday before he holds direct talks with President Joe Biden.
4. Then there is the state dinner, a meeting with CEOs, an address to a joint session of Congress and speeches to Indian Americans, which have been highlights of Mr. Modi's past U.S. visits. 5. All this for a leader once denied a visa to travel to the U.S. because of concerns over human rights. Now the U.S. sees Mr. Modi as a crucial partner. 6. Behind the carefully crafted ceremonies lie discussions that have the potential to not only infuse new energy into India-US relations but also have an impact on the global order. 7. The Indo-Pacific is where the US possibly needs India's influence more than anywhere else right now. The US has long viewed India as a counterbalance to China's growing influence in the region, but Delhi has never been fully comfortable with owning the tag.
8. It may still be reluctant to do so, but China continues to be one of the main catalysts driving India-US relations. 9. At the end of the day, whether or not India has publicly embraced the tag, it is very clear that Indian governments have seen the U.S. relationship as helpful as they deal with China. 10. The future of mankind is underwater. It's not on Mars, CEO Stockton Rush said. We will have a base underwater. If we trash this planet, the best lifeboat for mankind is underwater.
11. To his team in Action Aviation, he was a guide, an inspiration, a support, and a living legend, his family said. Hamish was one of a kind, and we adored him. He was a passionate explorer, whatever the terrain, who lived his life for his family, his business, and for the next adventure.
English News Assistant. Read the native language translation first, and follow the broadcasting to read aloud. Witness the miracle in 3 months.
Indian Prime Minister Modi addresses U.S. Congress. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivering a speech to the U.S. Congress. The transcript begins with applause as Modi is introduced. He expresses his gratitude for the opportunity to address the United States Congress and acknowledges the presence of both old and new friends among the members. Modi talks about the importance of democracy and its values of equality, dignity, debate, and discourse. He mentions that India is the mother of democracy and emphasizes the partnership between India and the United States as two great democracies. He pays tribute to Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and late Congressman John Lewis for their contributions to liberty, equality, and justice. The Prime Minister highlights India's progress over the years, mentioning its economic growth, infrastructure development, healthcare initiatives, financial inclusion, and the digital revolution. He also emphasizes India's commitment to environmental sustainability, mentioning its growth in solar capacity and its status as the only G20 country to meet its Paris Agreement commitments. Modi shares India's vision of inclusivity, empowerment, and progress led by women. He highlights the participation of women in various sectors, including politics, defense, and space exploration. He also mentions India's cultural diversity and its tradition of embracing all faiths. The Prime Minister discusses India's engagement with the world, its commitment to global action on healthcare, climate change, and sustainable development. He emphasizes India's willingness to cooperate and assist other nations, mentioning the country's efforts in defense cooperation, aerospace, and technology. Modi calls for a diversification, decentralization, and democratization of supply chains to mitigate the negative impacts of globalization. He emphasizes the importance of dialogue, diplomacy, and multilateralism in resolving global issues, including terrorism and radicalism. He highlights the need for reforming multilateral institutions to better represent the global community. The speech concludes with Modi expressing optimism and calling for continued support and cooperation between India and the United States. He believes that the India-US partnership can demonstrate that democracies are effective and can bring positive transformations to the world.